If you were to ask me if I ever thought that I would live through a pandemic, I would have been like, absolutely not. I mean, it's something you learn about in school and you're like, wow, like I don't think that could ever happen. But here we are and it's still going on. And it definitely opened my eyes. And I think that everything's going to change just like moving forward. But I wouldn't change being a nurse.
I'm currently finishing my clinical rotations for medical school in New York City. Initially in February, March, we weren't really concerned. We didn't really, we didn't think much of it. Everybody was kind of downplaying it. And it was just, all right, we're not seeing any cases here. It's fine. By the time we hit the second week of March, we as students were getting exposed, residents were getting exposed, doctors were getting exposed, physicians, and we're seeing a lot of people get admitted for it. As a medical student, you can't place orders for a patient. You are there solely to interview them, do a physical, check them out, develop a plan of action, and then hand it off to someone who can actually carry that out. So by the second week of March, they were like, we can't afford to have you here. It's dangerous for you, and it's just one more potential route of transmissions. They slowly reintroduced us back in the beginning of July, and they made sure that there were enough precautions in place. Like, we can't go anywhere without a mask on. I mean, that's just standard. But in the hospital, from the time I step out of my car, I park my car, I step out of it, I put my mask on. I don't take that mask off again until I get back to my apartment, usually. We have to wear special scrubs in the hospital. You have to swipe a card, get a pair of scrubs, put them on, and then by the end of the day, you have to change out of those scrubs and back into your street clothes or your own scrubs to leave the hospital. So you're not taking anything with you.
I work at Duke University Hospital, and I work specifically on a cardiothoracic surgery floor, and we work with patients pre and post-op, heart and lung surgery, heart and lung transplant, and then some esophageal surgeries. It was a little bit of an adjustment at first. Thankfully, my floor in general wasn't super affected because most of my patients are immunocompromised, so we weren't allowed to take any COVID patients just because of the risk of spreading that to our other patients. We would go to different units and kind of help them out just because there's so many patients in there with COVID or COVID symptoms. And so we just kind of helped out around the hospital where we could. But it was kind of eerie. I've never seen the hospital so dead in my life. And, the emergency department is usually packed, and there would be days where they had no one in the waiting room. So it was strange.
I work at New York Presbyterian. We opened up a COVID floor, and we opened that towards the end of March, I want to say. So I was working with all COVID patients from about March to the end of July is when we closed the COVID floor. We were completely full. We opened ICUs and operating rooms and stuff like that. We had to increase our capacity of the hospital by 50%. So we had a lot of beds in hallways and stuff. Luckily, we didn't really have to use them that much. But it definitely got bad there for a couple months. Working with the group of nurses that I get to work with on a daily basis made those 5 months go by.
And then I think it was just eye-opening for everyone in terms of working as a team. I think sometimes you get very stuck in your specialty, but I feel like it kind of forced all of us to kind of see that we've always been a team and we are a team, and just really coming together more so and working together.